Welcome back to another episode of Tune In with Gab. I'm going to talk about the frequency of authenticity today. And I'm really excited to talk about this because I've been wanting to for a while. And authenticity is one of my favorite words. It's one of my biggest values because I feel like I have had that ingrained in me since I was born. I feel like one of my big missions in life is to learn how to show up authentically and feel safe being me. And I totally felt that way as a kid. I always was super outspoken and loud and like as I grew older, especially a teenager, I was life of the party, loved like dancing. I was really silly and ridiculous in high school. I feel like a lot of people who knew me then would say that. And then I kind of lost that spark as I became an adult because I feel like just the pressure to become an adult, it almost felt like, oh, an adult means being serious. It's like it felt like the responsibilities of being an adult started to weigh on me, especially with my career. And I've definitely had some really painful experiences happen to me that I think also reiterate the message it's not safe to be myself. And I think that's something that I'm still relearning. I also was on medication as a teenager on SSRIs from like age 13 onwards. And I feel like that really helped me feel safe in my body. And I stopped taking those SSRIs in my early 20s. And it's really a full circle moment because I've been off of them actually since I want to say 2013 was when I stopped taking them. So that would be almost 13 years I've been off of medication. And I've tried everything. So of course, I do a lot of meditation, yoga, grounding. I've done different diets. I also quit drinking like extensively in my 20s, gave that up for a very long time, and I really don't drink now. But I think when I quit drinking too, like the intensity of my anxiety and lack of safe, like feeling safe really got triggered. So, all to say that I am going back on medicine and trying that out again. My doctor just filled a prescription, and I'm really excited because I want to. It's not even like a mental block, it's like a physical safety thing. I just have this like wall up that I feel like I can't get past of people pleasing, of other people's voices in my head, or like just it's like automatic stopping me from being myself. And it's something that really is hard because I miss this old teenage version of myself where I didn't think twice about things that I said, and probably to a detriment. But there's something to be said for feeling like yourself and connected. And it's like making me emotional talking about this because my teenage self was super creative and had a ton of friends that felt authentic. And like, I didn't think I was never like that insecure person from that perspective. Like, I always like was myself no matter what. And I feel like I lost that version of me somewhere along the way. And I've really been trying to connect with that version of me for so long. And so I'm excited to bring her back. Like that's my journey. And all this to say, if you feel like you have lost that ability to show up authentically, you're not alone. And I think a lot of us lose that as we grow older. And that's what I'm learning is, and I think we learn that from our parents and them doing their best. It's like on being an adult means that you lose that childlike whimsy is the word that's coming to me, or that play. And it's really hard to get back to that when you're working, when you're go, 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 when you have all these responsibilities. Like for me as a parent, it's just unreal having just like come home, the house is a mess, there's bills to pay, there's things to organize. I'm doing my job, I'm managing my kids' lives, I have my relationship or my marriage, like we have a house to take care of. It's just our health, food, meals, like there's all this responsibility that bogs you down. And so it's really, really hard to, I think, switch from being go, go, go and survival mode. And it's like almost we show up as this automatic version of ourselves. And that authentic inner child version of ourselves, or whoever you imagine yourself. For me, it's like my teenage self, like age range, like 12 to probably like 15 would be like the sweet spot. And that's where I felt most me, most like expressive in like what I wore and my silliness and like how I spoke and how I showed up in the world. And so that version of ourselves wants to come out. It's just finding time to reconnect with that. And I also realize I talk with my hands so much. So it's just, it's really funny to see myself on video and be like, oh, I talk with my hands. So if you notice that, but also part of being authentically me, it's just like how I move through what I'm saying. It's automatic also. But yeah, I think it's just the energy of authenticity is so rare and also like such a high vibration because it is so rare in how we show up in the world. Because as kids, we see all these adults showing up like, oh, they're playing a part, they're playing the teacher, they're playing the parent that goes to work, and we don't really see our parents showing up in that authentic version of themselves, or we see them people pleasing for what their parents want them to be doing, or, you know, seeing them people please by betraying their own needs, or it could be your siblings or classmates. And over time, we learn like, oh, what it means to be human is to ignore my own needs, people please, fit in with society, and that's important for safety because at the root of it in the caveman days, that was survival. Was if you didn't fit in with the tribe, then you are going to be exiled, you're alone, you don't have safety, you're more likely to get eaten or killed if you're alone. So it meant that doing whatever it takes to fit in with the tribe. And that also means in the family life when you're growing up is that you learn, okay, if you acted a certain way as a child and you were showing up authentically and you were reprimanded or shamed for that over and over and over again, which I definitely have had those experiences, then you learn, okay, it's not safe to be me, especially in your immediate family household. And I feel like this is a very millennial experience. As millennials, we have a placement in all of our birth charts that's Pluto and Scorpio. And Pluto in Scorpio is very deep. It's very transformational. As a moon in Scorpio, I feel very connected to it. And the reason it's deep is because Scorpio is a sign of emotional depth and also, as I said, transformation. So, as a generation, as millennials, I feel like we've all experienced these really painful things from childhood that are part of our job to transform to then make sure our kids don't pass this down or inherit this and then pass it down to their kids. Like we are the cycle breakers, we are the generational trauma breakers. So you may feel that weight on your shoulders in your experience as a millennial. I know I feel that in a lot of ways with my family and being kind of the black sheep or different or feeling different. I've always felt different. And so it's almost this coming back home to ourselves. And you don't have to be a millennial to feel this way, but I connect with a lot of millennials, I feel like, on this topic. But our parents raised us like, oh, if Aunt Susie wants to give you a hug or Uncle John wants to give you a hug, you have to give them a hug and you don't get to get asked, do you want to give them a hug? Do you like doing this? Or you're going to sign up for soccer and you're going to do this because we want you to do this, or you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor, right? Because that's what everyone in our family did, and any other job is not good enough. So you need to make sure that you're, showing up as a lawyer or doctor. And if you want to do art, you're a failure. Or if you do anything, if you go pursue your music dreams, you're a failure. Like, that's not enough. You'll never be successful. That's like the crossroads a lot of us are in right now, is like, okay, I have this programming from childhood that I learned that I have to show up this certain way and I have to be this version of myself for my parents, and this is how they want me to show up. And if I don't, then it's not safe. But now we live on our own and we're creating our own families, and you always have a choice. You always have a choice to show up authentically. It's just the fear, your nervous system and your inner child, or what we call parts. If you've ever done like parts work in therapy, there's parts of yourself that are from your childhood that are going to say, that's not safe when you try to step out and pursue your music dreams, or to pursue your podcasts, or pursue even your career, whatever it might be. That's your parts trying to protect you, being like, this isn't safe. We learned this isn't safe, so don't pursue this. And it'll feel really uncomfortable and unnatural because your whole inner child and your nervous system's job is to keep you safe and regulated. So it's going to dysregulate you when you do something new or uncomfortable that takes you out of your comfort zone. So a lot of people quit because they feel like, oh, well, it would feel good and easy if I was doing this, or you'll see patterns of self-sabotage, especially because it's like your nervous system or subconscious saying, this isn't safe. We need to end this. This is not safe. We need to backpedal. So getting back to that authenticity is, it feels life threatening to show up authentically sometimes, because it means speaking up when you disagree with someone. It means saying no to the group, even though it doesn't, like, if something doesn't feel good, it means saying no to the group or to your friends or to your family, even when everyone's going to get frustrated with you, or they're going to have their own feelings. And I can't remember where I heard this, but it's like, it's not your job to take on the emotions of other people. And also, with your kids, if you're raising young kids or kids in general, it's like they showing them that adults can be disappointed. They can handle being disappointed in your choices. Like, that's what we're so afraid of, is the disappointment, the shame, the feeling like we're letting someone down, and it feels so unsafe because that's how we were raised, is, oh, what happens when I disappoint my parents? I get in trouble, I get yelled at, whatever your experience was as a child, or criticized. And so it's really comes full circle. And this is what I've been talking about. And I talked about this in my stories this morning. We are walking through the fire right now. And I think a big part of that is showing up authentically, because you can't hide anymore in this energy. Like, you're either going to go in two ways. You're going to be like, oh, I have to show up on authentically now because I can't hide from myself anymore. Or the other option is to go deeper into avoidance and double down on the identity that you've created that doesn't feel authentic. And that will not feel good either. So, the walking through the fire and facing the discomfort of showing up authentically, even when that means making decisions that upset other people or make you feel unsafe, is that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a Eventually your nervous system will adapt. Like, that's what our brains are meant to do. When we expose ourselves to new experiences, it becomes new. And well, it's new at first, then it becomes comfortable and it becomes part of our norm. But we have to go through that discomfort to get to the other side. And so you're going to be put in situations that are like you have two choices, show up authentically or keep people pleasing. And it's it's not fun sometimes to choose yourself. Like it's what your soul needs, it's what your inner child needs, but it's not always fun with the aftermath. That's the painful part. So, things you can do to support yourself when you're trying to make decisions from an authentic place. Always, always ground in nature, sit on the ground, connect to your breath. The other piece that's really important is being around people that you feel safe with, that do honor your inner child, your authentic self, that do make you feel comfortable and safe, that are not gonna challenge you showing up authentically, that are basically mirrors that say, if these people love me for who I am, then I know it's safe to show up authentically. And I always have these people. You have like a circle that really supports you because a lot of people don't have that, and that can be really painful as well. So I inspire you to make choices of authenticity and also sitting in that frequency of what it feels like. What does authenticity look like to you? What does it feel like to you? Understanding that from a personal level and knowing what your values look like and what actually is your life or a life. What does life look like that feels authentic to you? Because you have to kind of have your guidebook, your map, your vision of what feels aligned and what doesn't anymore. And then that's how you know and you can make decisions of what doesn't feel aligned anymore or authentic anymore. So I hope that helps. And I'm sending you good vibes. I hope that you're able to show up authentically and let me know if you feel this energy, this pressure, I guess I'll say pressure, this new reality setting in where it's asking you to show up in a different way or different version of yourself. And I'll see you next week.